Moesha was definitely like a teenage experience for me. So shout outs to Brandy and Ray J for real. But like I this is like how is it like raising two stars simultaneously? Because it's probably managing two big stars like that. Because when Ray J came out, he was pretty big too. So
Yeah. Well,
how was that
the
for you,
whole
Miss Norwood?
I'll say first off that you have to understand that they're different, you know, and raising them, you can't raise one the same as you do the other, and even
Mm,
if I had two girls, they both were different and they would be different in character. So Ray J and Brandy were different in character, and Brandy was the one that was the most tedious one. She was the one that
mm.
everything had to be spick and span, and she knew when you went in her room, she knew you'd been there. If you left something, if you opened her drawer and something just didn't settle well when she got back, she knew someone's in there. Ray was different, but raising them was just the same way that I would have raised them if they never had been in the industry at all. And that's the part that people don't understand, is even though they were in the business, together, my husband and I never felt that we needed to lose parental control because you were in front of the camera. There still were things that you had to do. There still was homework that you had to do. There was still, no, you're not going to the mall, on this particular at this particular time because you have responsibilities. Those things transitioned into TV world. And when Ray J had the role of on Sinbad, he was going to the set on Thursdays. No, on Brandy was going to Moesha to film on Thursday, and he was going to Sinbad on Friday. So,
Wow.
we had to have my mom and the next door neighbor. They all helped out because as we wanted someone on the set with them. So I was still working, and my husband was working at the church, but he had more liberty to go through the whole acting part more so than me. So we went to the set every day, and then we filmed and on Thursdays and Fridays. But when they left there, they knew that that was acting. They were acting. That's not them in real life. That this, you don't get any extravagant pleasures of doing other things because you are a beginning to become a celebrity. And then I remembered we talked about them going to college because I wanted them to go to college, but they were already entrenched in acting at that point. They both had their television shows. They were making pretty good money. They were making more money than me and my husband were making. And so that they just decided that they were going to stay in the industry. So the transition then for Brandy went into the movies and TV and film. And Ray J, when he first came out, that's a story that I'm going to tell in my book about how um, record labels can screw up, or should I not say that word, but record labels can mishandle a project to the point where it doesn't really come out the way that it should have if there had been more attention. So that happened to him on his first project. And from that first project, he decided, look, you know, from here on out, I'm going to take responsibility for my own career. I'm going to go independent. Everything is going to be independent with me from here on out. I'm going to use my own money, and I'm going to do it my way. And if I fail, then guess what? I fail at the decisions that I make. So then he went off into the whole independent world. But baby, I've gone too far than what you asked me, but I'm sorry.
Nah, you fine.
No, that's perfect.
Take
Yeah.
all of that.
Like
You fine.
I'm just yeah, we soaking it in.
So looking back, how do you think it was? How do you think you dealt with trying to make sure the music was good and also TV shows was going good, and at the same time keeping the Ray J and Brandy kind of balanced in life, so to
Hmm.
speak.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, and a part of me being on Clubhouse, because I'm really big on going on Tuesdays. I'm real big of talking about how I think that I can help artists overcome certain pitfalls in the industry, and how I believe that based on my experiences, if you were to just consider some of the options that I have, you'll find them to be very beneficial. And I think that what really worked well for me was I went into the industry knowing who I was. And, you know, a lot of times when we tell people you need to know who you are and you need to, you know, you need to make sure you know who you are, you really never tell a person how to get to know who you are. And so until we understand that process, we won't understand how to get to a real level of conflict or how to deal with conflict until we know who we are really. So I already knew from the very beginning who I was. I knew that I had boundaries that I was going to set. I knew I had strengths of character and I knew I had weaknesses of character. And I just didn't know the business well enough to know how I would interact in the industry. But remember, I was already labeled as a momager. And a momager, in my opinion, is a code word. And that code word is sending signals out to industry execs or whomever to say, you know what, we got a mom on board who's trying to manage their kids, and they don't really know what they're doing. This is a great opportunity for us to step in, take control, and then, you know, make them feel, as far as me, let me just say me, and make me feel as though I'm not capable of running a managerial platform or position in my kid's life. So I had to overcome that. I had to become 3 times smarter than what I probably normally would have done if I hadn't been a parent manager and if I hadn't been a female. And so I would work their projects during the day, and then I would study at night. And the way that I studied people, the person. Every meeting, I needed to know who was going to be in that meeting. I needed to know as much as I could about them. So I would review videos and voice stuff, everything that I can find out about that person before I set foot in the meeting. I was prepared to deal with that person and whatever personalities that they had, and also capable of adjusting to a different climate in the event that happened. So, you know, it's a lot more than just saying it. Just, you know, it's more to it than that. It's like there's just so much sausage made in the development of a career, and then you don't just there's a difference between being in the business and doing a career. Is a longevity. You know, it's like for both of my kids to be in the business 25 years later, you know, is a career. And that's what every artist should try to achieve, is a career and not just a shortstop. Now, you don't know all of that that's happening or whether that's going to happen, you know, back then, but that's what you wake up in the morning to do. You wake up in the morning as an artist manager, you wake up in the morning to build a career. That's what I did. I woke up to build careers, and that's what I focused on. And I just didn't allow anything to stop me. And if I were not educated enough, then I became educated.
How often did you feel like you had to protect your integrity within the business?
Well, you know, after a while, you know, that's just you know, that is just not even that's not even a question. It's like I'm walking in, you're going to respect that, you know, because I'm walking in with my own belief that this is not what I have to do, even though I do need a check and I do need a job and I do need to pay bills, but I won't get it if I have to bow down to you. I'm not doing that. And I'm not going to do it if you decide, when my daughter was 15, you wanted to seductively dress her. That wasn't going to happen either. You know, so when you go in with certain boundaries and people understand that you're not going to cave on certain things, of course you compromise on some things, but those things that are real valuable to you, you're not going to compromise on. And they really quickly get the understanding that, you know, she's not going to fall for that. So let's don't go for it.
Right. So